Shane Simmons, the Appalachian Project, and this should give away where I'm heading today. The Pound, Virginia. Trip down here's way overdue. And this is a mural just along Route 23 that tells a little bit about the notable folks that have ties to Pound, including Francis Gary Powers, who was well known for being shot down during the Cold War. He was a U-2 pilot and touched off an international incident, which was made famous in a movie featuring Tom Hanks called Bridge of Spies. It was out a few years back. I wrote about his story. If you're not familiar with it, you can check it out on our website at appalachiantalk.org, and you just search back through there, and there's the story of Francis Gary Powers. Very fascinating. And then on to Napoleon Hill here, who is the original self-help author. Long before Tony Robbins came along, there was Napoleon Hill with Think and Grow Rich was the name of his most famous work. And the gentleman to the right of him is Champ Kelly, who is a local politician very well known in the area. And just to the right of him is Glenn Roberts, respected as the person who perfected the jump shot for basketball. Great athlete, tremendous scorer, and just recently honored him here in town, so I'm glad to be able to plug that as well. I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm keeping up the NBA playoffs this year, so that one particularly hits home with me. But this is just a few of the famous folks and stories from this area. A lot of people will be very familiar with the name Sean Brock, who is a much respected chef, and when it comes to chefs, he's at the top of the food chain. I just had to go there. That's just the way I am. And another fellow named Tony Mullins was from Pound, and he wrote a song for Kenny Chesney that you may be familiar with, called "I Want to Know How Forever Feels." It was a smash hit for Kenny Chesney. There's some folks now, Caitlin Baker making some noise, got some good music out. And another story, I'll get into that when I'm in the car. We'll wrap this up and get on the road as it's starting to rain, as always. So I'm back on the road heading into the Pound, Virginia, and I was just referencing a story. Back in the 90s, I'm wanting to think it was, there was a town council passed an ordinance that forbade, I guess is the right word, dancing without a permit. And that actually received national headlines and earned the town quite a bit of infamy, particularly for its similarity to the plot for the movie Footloose, starring Kevin Bacon. If you don't remember the movie, you probably at least remember the song. Pound is only a population just a shade over 1,000. For it to find that many famous people from here and stories is kind of remarkable, really. But it does have a lot of traffic. You can see it come through here. There's a lot of people that pass through this town. Just off the Route 23, on the way toward Kentucky, and it's very close to Jenkins, Kentucky, just right across the state line. Heading toward Pikeville to kind of give you an idea of where it's at in this world. And at one time at Pound High School, it was a factor in sports. We just passed a sign that showed all the state champions from here. Here's a little park attached to the town hall of Pound. The police department's located as well. The downtown section. A few buildings. You can see this was a bustling town at one point in time, and it's, like I said, it's still got quite a bit of traffic going on. Signpost ahead says "Welcome to Pound, home of the Wildcats." I guess I just referenced the school. I guess the Wildcats are extinct these days, unfortunately. This is kind of getting more out of town, and you're heading towards Jenkins, Pikeville. Ends back, emptying back out on Route 23 if you keep going out this way. Keep shooting for just a minute because a little bit more to see here. Beautiful scenery out through here as far as the trees and so forth. There's absolutely gorgeous on the mountainside. See just a little bit of, give you a little idea of the lay of the land here. First community bank I had, I wanted to come by here. I actually worked in that branch a time or two in my life. I used to work for them. Pizza Plus. So this, like I said, this ends up emptying out back onto Route 23. I'll take another shot from another location here in Pound in just a second. So stick with me from the magic of editing. I'll be in another part of town next time you see me. What you see in front of you there is the remnants of the old Pound High School I mentioned before. And it's very symbolic of, or representative, I guess, of the major problem plaguing Southwest Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, Southern West Virginia, and that is all these abandoned schools. What do you do with them? There's a lot of nostalgia, sentimentality attached to them, but they're also dangerous and eyesores in another way. There's, how much money would it take to fix something like that? I mean, if you did fix it up, how would you afford to run electricity and everything else that would need to keep it working? It's very easy to say fix them up and keep them, but it's, where do you get the money? That's the question. Take a panning view of their old football field, old Dotson Mullins Field. Sure, a lot of folks from the area have got a lot of good memories from this place. And it's just a shame you don't know what to do with them. It's just population drops. Schools are getting much older. You can't afford to replace them, so they consolidate, leaving behind a lot of memories, a lot of empty buildings, and a lot of problems. So what's the solution? I don't know. I don't have a clue. I know people mention things like fixing, and some places are more capable of being converted into something that makes sense. I've seen one place convert an old elementary school, I guess it was, into a business incubator. I've heard people want to convert them into assisted living facilities and that type of thing, but that's just not going to work for all these things, and some of them have a lot of problems. I imagine that's the case for this building. It looks pretty old, and the windows busted out and all that stuff. It would take a fortune to get it built back up into anything usable. So for now, it just sits here and rots. Kind of depressing, but that's the reality of the situation. So we'll head on down the road, and hopefully there's something more positive to end this video on. Was a buzzkill, sorry about that. Anyway, here's going off the hill from the Pound High School. On the road, heading back toward the downtown section of Pound. Like I say, Pound's population's just a shade over 1,000. It's in Wise County, and just across the border from Kentucky and Jenkins. Give you another look of how you get into the downtown section, the intersection up here. Stop up here and take a live video, or not a live video, but a video from the downtown on outside of my car, and then we'll wrap it up. Just wanted to give you a view from outside of the vehicle of the downtown section of Pound. You can see quite a few empty storefronts, and also a few that are still vacant or still being used. Kind of a mixed bag. Leave it right here with this. Daniel Webster Dotson. There's a bridge dedicated to him just right down the road from here. You can see he was quite the distinguished soldier. Ended up getting killed in a car wreck. And just ahead down this road, you can see that the bridge that's dedicated to him, the Daniel Webster Dotson Bridge. And with that, we'll wrap this video up. Much more positive note. I like to see the war heroes getting their proper recognition. And this, my friends, was The Pound. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, subscribing, commenting, sharing, liking, and I really want to appreciate the guys who are patrons on our Patreon at www.patreon.com/Appalachia. You making this thing happen for me right now, so I really appreciate it.